All right, we are back. I can't wait to get into this next section. So let's see where we're at here. We're on the train.
Damn coughing. We've left those sands long ago, and it still persists. What does Crest even smoke? It's terrible. In any case, I'm better now.
I hate to interrupt, guys, but you should come to the mess hall. The table is almost served.
Thanks, Stepan. We'll be there in a moment. Shall we go, Artyom? Or shall we stay a little longer? It's so nice.
It is nice.
You know, Artyom, I've been looking at Stepan and Katya, you and me, and thinking how lucky we are. It was so different with my parents. It was bad. Did I ever tell you why my mom died? Of course I didn't. It was because of Dad. He used to be even harsher back then. He used to come home from the barracks and reach for the bottle while taking off his boots. They'd quarrel, and then he'd stop appearing for a time. And while he was away, she'd start drinking too, and crying when she was sober. She'd feel better, would get kind of dreamy when drunk. You know how she used to call me? Just A. She'd hug me and say, "One day, A, you and I are going to go to Vladivostok, the city I was born in. And from there to a village on the ocean shore." I was 5 back then and didn't really get much. But I could imagine that village and the ocean so vividly because I believed her. And then she killed herself. Drank some kind of poison.
Whoa.
Father quit drinking after Mom's death. Didn't ever pay much attention to me, but with her gone, he'd never leave me alone. Took me along everywhere. We only talked about her a couple of times, though. I used to have this doll, Jana. I played make-believe that she was my daughter, and we went to the ocean together. Then my father hid it, told me it got lost. He probably didn't want me to agonize over Mom's dream. Then I imagined she grew up and went to Vladivostok. And now I'm going. Not to Vladivostok, but with you. The dream came true. By the way, I was always intrigued by what Dad dreams about. He should have some dreams, but what are they? Higher rank? He could choose any. Saving people? What would the saved do next? Sit underground? I never understood him. What does he hope for in life? What makes him happy? Nothing, perhaps. He never really had any time to think about tomorrow. Down in the metro, those thoughts don't come casually. Here on the surface, though. I, for one, have something I want to do. I want to run through the sand barefoot. Build a sand castle for the kids. I'm imagining 2. A boy and a girl. The boy would be a copy of you. We'd go swimming with mountains behind us. Wooden houses on the shore. The sun would wake us up every day, rising from the ocean. That harbor is our destination. Worth going there even if we have half the world to cross. Everyone should have a destination. A point on the map where they aspire to go, and where one could finally be happy. All our guys have their own. We broke out of the metro and are now starting to scatter. Not at once, of course. At first, we're all still running together, searching. But eventually, each of us will find a point like this, and stay there. I don't know where my dad's destination is. Don't know where yours is either. But I know I love you a whole lot.
So I have one last puff, maybe. See if she's done. Alright, I guess sometimes they start talking again if you wait. But that was a lot, so maybe she's done. Alright, here we go.
Go, Artyom. I'll rest some more and join you later.
Okay. Let's see, what do we got? Oh, look at this. Are these the postcards we collected so far? Maybe we only have 3? Oh man, so if you have them collected, they would show up in here on this wall. Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do another playthrough. I'm doing hardcore, but I might do Ranger hardcore and see what the what is. What's this? Music? Oops, hello. Typewriter. Oh, it was the chair that was giving me the thing. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and sit down. Because we know these sections, the named like season sections, are a lot of talking. And I do like to go through them all, so if that isn't something that you're that interested in, you know, skip ahead to the next action section. It's not even letting us look at the radio. Oh, there it is. Radio light. What's the light? Oh yeah, let's turn on the light. Let's check the radio first. Go a little slower.
Station come in, over. Station here, over. Oh my god, it's Dina! When did I miss you? Over. Are you calling just to tell me that? Over. No, I just didn't expect you to be on radio duty. Here's what I wanted to say. I'm coming back from Nizhny already. How are you guys doing in Cheboksary? Over.
Well, doing all right, considering the radiation and all. Over.
Well, Dina, I see that you're in no mood for chatter today, even though I have news. The locals did end their scuffle after all. Well, I'll tell you more when I'm back. Over.
Not in the mood? It's just that we have news here too, so come over quickly if you don't want to miss all the fun.
I see. I'm gonna run then. Over and out.
Good luck with your marathon. Over and out.
Dina. But I don't think she said his name.
Hey, come on. Abbas, where the hell are you? Come in.
Abbas.
Demon, why so much fuss? Why you expect me to answer the second you call?
Because of the frequency we're on? That's why? It's always jammed with the fucking ARC project bullshit.
You don't need to worry about that. It's gone now.
Gone?
Yeah, it
I
is.
thought that with so many fools going there and never coming back, it would be going on forever.
I think some fool actually got there. Broke the record and all.
Mad fucking chance of that. I'd say whatever's been gobbling them fools up is just full now and is getting some Z's for digestion.
That may be, but now we can talk here and nobody will know.
Nobody.
Yes, we can. So, what was that you wanted to talk about?
You hear about that meet? Yes?
I have. Not that I'm invited. I'll just stay here and wait for one of the two bosses to come hire me and my boys. How about you?
Me too, me too. My people, they want some action and fat payout. And this is chance by the Holy Flame. And here, what I want to talk about. How about we work together? together.
Ah, good thinking. I don't want to fight you anymore.
I don't want to fight you too. That knee still hurts. So, what you say, old friend?
I'm in. We need to talk in person now. A good deal likes privacy, and even though this frequency seems secure...
Yes, I understand. Let us meet tomorrow at the old restaurant. What you say? Huh?
Deal. See you there, Abbas. Over and out.
Abbas and
Rahmat, my friend.
Demon.
Over and out.
Or Rahmat. And then we also had the Holy Flame was set in there, so interesting that they maybe are on the same. Let's see if there's a little bit more.
Brothers and sisters,
Oh,
the
Gil.
Baron, that old dog, is dead. I killed him myself.
Ooh.
All of the Moonlight by Lair are confused now, like headless chickens. Our day has come. Fight them. Fight them however you can. Come where
Ooh.
the Baron's rig used to be. Come and we'll give you weapons. You served those dogs for too long. And what did you get in return? Only cruelty, death, and the holy flame, which I spit at.
Whoa.
It is time to chase them away from our land for good now. All of our land, all oil, all food will be ours. Death to the Moonai by Lair.
Wow. She's pretty serious. Okay, let's see what else. Anything more? One more maybe? Or is 3 good? Oh, wait. Oh, that was just some music. We'll get our... Oh, that's pretty nice. Let's leave that. Can I leave? There we go. Let's see. Let's look at our diary and see if there's been anything that's been updated. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Hang on a second. Oh, let me turn that off because it's hard to concentrate. Turn it off. I think we heard everything we needed to hear. And I know when we look at the diary, I just like to make sure that the master volume is down a little bit because the train gets a little monotonous. So we'll turn that back up here in a second. But let's go ahead and look at the diary and see if we got anything. There's all these new question marks here. So diary. Yamantau. We are approaching the Yamantau bunker, the final destination. Okay, so these are the... And we all return home to the metro. So these are the things that happen at the beginning of the sections. And we've pretty much heard those or seen those. And we know that Stepan did propose to Katya. It was a proposal that she couldn't refuse. Alright, so that's the diary. The crew. Is there anything new in the crew? Anna, let's see, Anna, oh, okay, Anna, let's see if there's anything new, because sometimes he adds a paragraph at the end. That was about Volga, which we read before. I've always been telling Anna that her father is holding on a stupid fabrication, wait, okay, because I thought I saw the word Volga up here. Oh, yeah, that's the one. Okay. I've always been telling Anna that her father's holding on a stupid fabrication and completely disregarding reality, but she loves him too much to fully admit that there was no trace of government in that bunker complex under Yamantau Mountain, which the colonel was so eager to reach. Just deranged cannibals who were once workers and soldiers, but lost their humanity completely. Anna was captured by them, and I barely managed to rescue her in the nick of time, not here. She was furious, shouting at her father, and could not believe that the war was long since over, but already seems to have forgiven him. I sincerely hope that with the maps we've recovered in the Caspian Desert, she will finally manage to persuade her father that we can forget about the war and finally settle somewhere. It's time we found a new home where Anna and I could finally live like a proper family is supposed to. Okay. Colonel Miller. Let's see, but Anna is still his daughter. I wish it would show you what the new part was. The Yamantau bunker was a huge disappointment for each of us, but for the Colonel, what we found there was a total catastrophe. Not only there was no Supreme Commander there, it looked like there was none left at all. So the people in control of Metro would have no superior in this world, which meant there was no chance for the Colonel to be pardoned for treason and ever return to Moscow. Not only would he have spent, not only would he have to spend the rest of his years in exile, an old cripple in charge of a few deserters, instead of the esteemed commander of the order he used to be, it appeared that all his life, all his battles in the Metro were useless. There were no signs of the war still going on, so back in Moscow, our indomitable colonel simply helped a bunch of usurpers deceive the whole population of Metro, even though he was kept out of the loop. How could he take this blow and not crumble, going back to commanding us all again? I might hate his hard-headedness and blindness, yet I can't help but admire his self-control and courage. Okay, let's scroll this up so we can read the whole thing. Wow, yeah. Last paragraph. Even in the Caspian Desert, where most of our people were down with dehydration, the Colonel persevered. He continued coordinating operations, issuing orders, and even gave his share of water to the soldiers while continuing to search for redemption there. And then Miller finally accepted the fact that the war was long over and there was no occupying forces. He even seemed to accept the fact that his days of glory were over, with only quiet sunset years and some black backwater ahead. The only thing he wouldn't accept, no matter what, was the danger his daughter's life was in. Outliving Anna was the most terrifying prospect he had ever faced. Yeah, he is very... okay, so here it is. Yet, so now we filled out the second paragraph. Yeah. Yet, having discovered the state that people sharing half of his blood were in on the shores of the dried-up sea, Dmitry changed. He did everything in his power to set them free, but eventually it was time to live besides the blood of his father's ancient nomadic people. There's Spartan blood in Dmitry's veins, and it's called proved stronger, because there is an option. From what I've heard, that Dmitry ends up staying back with Gül and sticking back. If you don't do, apparently if you don't do the side missions of freeing the slaves, he won't continue with the crew. Okay, I think Duke is the same, because nothing really happened with Duke back there. Yermak should be the same. Yep. I think Idiot is the same. Oh, here we go. Last paragraph. In combat, though, Idiot becomes a different man. There's not a trace of his usual penchant for long-winded speeches and reflection. He is composed, quick, and ruthless. It was him and Sam who saved us from the cannibals in the Yamantau bunker complex, and it was him again who interpreted the satellite data and gave us a new goal. The more the Colonel glares at me, the more he relies on him. So I think that whenever our leader decides to retire, he is most likely to leave the order, or whatever it is left of it, by that time. Okay. So he's going to leave the order, or whatever is left of it, by that time in Idiot's hands. So Idiot would be taking over, apparently. Alyosha's the same. Sam had to sit out the... Let's see. While we were waiting for the Aurora's repairs to be completed, thinking on how to cross the river, Sam, in light of our constant mentions of occupying forces, hypnotized himself into believing that the Colonel didn't trust him. It must be heartbreaking to have served a commander for 20 years with unquestioning loyalty, only to be considered a traitor, but it must be equally heartbreaking to have become so close to your old enemy, only to learn that your country might still be there after all, and if the war still is going on, whose side are you on? Who are you? We actually had read that, so I wish it would tell us. Okay, Stepan. That's it. So I think it's this one. For saving her, Katya repaid Stepan in kind in the Caspian Desert. Stepan got so ill he couldn't even walk, with much less fight. He almost died from dehydration, and if not for Katya, he would have been dead for sure. He knew whom to thank for his life, and as soon as he was able to get up, he immediately fell to one knee and proposed. Search wherever you can. You'd never find a better husband for Katya and stepfather for Nastya. He's been spending so much time with the girl, making toys for her and answering her constant questions about everything, that Nastya had already called Stepan Dad several times by that time. Now that Katya was officially his wife, beholding their family happiness was a true sight for the sore eyes. At least someone will be able to have a proper family and future. A pity this doesn't seem likely for Anna and me. I wonder why that is. Okay, that's the same. Katya really is amazing. If not for the efforts, our crew was bound to stay forever in the Caspian sands. We survived in the metro tunnels. We won the Battle of D6. We survived where anybody else would die. But dehydration and infections of the desert had almost done us in. Stepan, despite all of his strength and resilience, would have definitely died there, had Katya not nursed him back to health. It seems she would have never forgiven herself had she not been able to. Katya herself, however, she suffered from the heat. Katya herself, however, she suffered from the heat and never let that show. Driven by her example, Nastya not only didn't whine in the slightest, but did her best to help her mother tend to the sick. What in the world would we have done without her? Let's see if this is anything. I think that's... Nope, that's the same. Okay, so the crew's the same. New world. New world. Let's see, we got the exhibition Hansa. Cannibals. Oh, the cannibals residing in the Yamatel complex seemed to suffer from heavy cerebral damage caused by an infectious disease they contracted through their diet. So their words are barely legible. Still, they are exceptionally determined in pursuing their prey, and complete disregard of their own safety makes them a dangerous enemy indeed. Yeah, they were pretty dangerous. The tribals, the local population of the Caspian Desert, ruthlessly subjected by a tyrannical criminal empire. The tribals are mostly young and serve their masters willingly, remaining servile and dedicated to them no matter what. Terrible oppression. They are repaid for their services with all... this is really hard to read because it's all caps and you can't tell where the punctuation is. Remaining servile and dedicated to them no matter what terrible oppression, they are repaid for their services with. All tribals are devout followers of the cult of the Holy Flame instituted by the Baron, their adherence to the tenets of faith being brutally enforced by their masters to keep them under control. And then the Svarg oil. The criminal empire ruling the portion of Caspian Desert we visited was controlled by a supreme ruler called the Baron, using the largest oil rig in the area as his seat of power. Apparently, the Baron's climb to power started within Svarg Oil, an oil drilling company that had been controlling all of oil extraction in the area when the war broke out. Okay, so I wish they would give us these not as postscripts to the chapter, but actually as precursors, or maybe we could read the diary as we go. But the diary only seems to be available in these sections. The new creatures we encountered, probably, yeah, the spider male, spider female, we know about them. The lurkers were the same as When in a lurker-infested area, you can never guess which burrow a bloodthirsty creature might appear from, though you can bet it will almost often be the one you're not looking at. That is so true. Alright, equipment should be the same. Don't think there was any new equipment. Weapons. Let's see if he added something. Oh yeah, besides this pneumatic, Tokarev also improved the Tihar's ammo, inventing a very effective incendiary round that can be easily made in the field out of 2 bearing balls, an empty ampule, or a piece of glass tube, a chemical initiator. Of course, you can't fit many of these rounds into the weapon magazine, but they are so effective you really need more than one at a time. I found though that I couldn't make those out in the field, maybe because I'm on hardcore. I don't know, but that was a little disappointing. Bastard, the decoy, the throwing knives, the explosive, Molotov, Gatling, and the bulldog. I have to give the bulldog's designers credit. It is vastly superior to the Kalash in damage output. Handling accuracy, has a lower rate of fire, making bursts more controllable, and is much lighter to boot. Yet despite all that, you don't really see these weapons often. The bulldog is much more complex than the Kalash and requires skillful maintenance. It is hardly surprising that most of the survivors prefer its elder brother, the indestructible Kalash. I like the bulldog though. Gatling's got a long paragraph here, but we're not really going to use that much. I'll leave this here. If you really want to read it, you can pause it. But yeah, we don't really need much for that. I think that's the diary. Okay, so we can turn off our light, and then we can stand up. All right then, and we will we'll call it here. We'll make this fairly compact. We'll call this summer diary, just so we know. It's basically Anna's history plus the diary, and then we'll go out this door and we will see what's up with all the talking on the crew. Another probably one of those long ass talking crew videos. Maybe not. We'll see. But we'll see you in the next one. Thanks everybody.